a team that has flown under the radar for much of this season, mostly because the SEC gets extreme bias by ESPN, which is something that no one's talking about, and I'm sure other people have noticed it. But this was my biggest concern for ESPN gaining the television rights for SEC football games. Was this right here? And the SEC has become ESPN's darling, their child, their favorite child, and it just always, it shows me that everything ties back, reverberates back to money and the financial gain. If ESPN does a great job of promoting SEC teams and how great they are within, especially with teams in the top 25 and the top 10, it creates more of an allure and of a desire to watch these teams. And so when you get these SEC matchups on ESPN, you get more of a turnout in terms of viewership, because people want to watch these teams play because that's all they hear about all week. But the fact that ESPN said earlier this week that Ohio State's 35-7 victory over Iowa was a lackluster performance shows me all I need to know about how ESPN is unabashed with their preference and favoritism towards the SEC. And if I'm noticing that, best believe that other programs, other teams that are not in the SEC are noticing that and are going to take that to task, and it's going to be used as bulletin board material, and it's going to be used to galvanize teams outside of the SEC, specifically Ohio State. Listen, outside of Texas, Ohio State has been the most consistent team in college football. And like I said, Ohio State is the best team in the Big Ten, though Penn State is a close second. So I do believe Penn State's better than Oregon. Oregon is another team that's flown under the radar, but I will say that Oregon has not had the toughest of schedules. They defeated Michigan State by a score of 31-10 last week, defeated UCLA by a score of 34-13, defeated Oregon State by a score of 49-14, had a close match against Boise State against 37, winning by a score of 37-34. By the way, that victory for Oregon against Boise State continues to look better as the weeks progress, because Boise State has shown themselves to be a highly proficient and touted offensive team. And Ohio State, they defeated Iowa, like I said, 35-7, defeated Michigan State 38-17 the week before that, and they defeated Marshall 49-14 the week before that. So yes, Ohio State has not had the toughest of schedules, but once again, the film speaks for itself. That offense, led by those freshmen and underclassmen at Ohio State, looks highly touted, and it looks like they're primed to make a run at the Big Ten. And if we look at matchup predictor, Ohio State has a 64% chance of winning this game compared to 35% for Oregon. The over-under is currently set at 53. The spread currently is set for Ohio State -3. And I do believe this game. I do believe this game is going to be more physical than people expect, obviously, because it's the Big Ten, and Oregon has done a good job of transitioning to the Big Ten. They have a very physical front seven, and Ohio State has a good front seven, but their secondary is great as well, probably the best part of their defense. And I won't be surprised if this game ends up being a low-scoring affair between these two teams. Look for both teams to establish the run early, especially Oregon, led by Dylan Gabriel. And, I believe I have Ohio State winning this game by a score of 27-24. I do believe this game will be a low-scoring affair compared to what people expect the score to be. But I do believe Ohio State is going to do a good job controlling or limiting, the explosive plays, the downfield plays for Oregon. And something that Oregon does well, they do a good job of running outside the tackle box on those sweeps and those zone plays and the counters. But Ohio State has their defense does a good job of moving laterally, And I believe that they're going to do a job of stopping those type of runs for Oregon, which is going to force Dylan Gabriel and Oregon to throw the ball downfield, outside the numbers, or on those crossing routes. And I'm not sure if that would be enough to stop this Ohio State team. I don't believe it will. And like I said, I have Ohio State win this game by a score 27-24. But I won't be surprised if these two teams meet again later on in the season, and perhaps in the Big Ten championship game. But for right now, I do believe that Ohio State will win this game by a score 27-24. And like I said, this is just going to solidify for me that Ohio State has been one of the most consistent teams in the country. They're the best team in the Big Ten, and that they are a team that people need to be aware of, and that should be talked more about. And it's unfortunate because no matter how good a team is from the Big 12, no matter how good a team is from the ACC, like in Miami, no matter how good a team is from the Big 10, like Ohio State or a Penn State, they're just not going to get the same attention, the same press coverage that teams from the SEC will. And this is the beginning of the preferential treatment for SEC and ESPN. And this is why I was hoping that CBS would retain the rights for the SEC football because of this right here. And don't be surprised if this has an impact on the college football playoff and the rankings. Obviously, we just heard the news that the Big Ten and SEC board of athletic directors, they just met for a conference to discuss the potential of each of those conferences having 4 automatic bids to the college football playoff. Imagine that. The same food that you wished for is now going to kill you for everyone that wanted a 12-team playoff. Told you I was not a proponent of this. All roads lead back to the money trail. And this is what happens. This is what happens when you mix money with it's entertainment at the end of the day, so it's always going to be about the money. However, you wanted more parity, you wanted more teams, but now more teams need to get paid, more pockets need to be filled, and this is what happens when you expand it to a 12-team playoff format. But I digress. I have Ohio State winning this game by a score of 27-24. Leave your thoughts in the comment section, though. I'd love to hear all about it, guys. With that being said, that's it for our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a wonderful show. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe button as well, so you guys can stay up to date on all of our latest content. And if you'd like to gain exclusive content from the Sorry to Bother You Show, you can do so by following us on Patreon. And if you'd like to support our network and our company, you can do so by following the link in the ticker below. It's streamelements.com/sorrytobotheryouLLC/tip. None of this is possible. You guys are fans, so we're so grateful and honored for all the love and support that you guys continue to show us day in and day out. We'll be back again, guys, same time tomorrow with our NFL show. So be sure to stick around for that, guys. But with that being said, continue to stay safe, be vigilant, make smart decisions,